Welcome to Wii Vault, a series on this channel where I take a look back at old Wii games, see if they're good, if they hold up today, and if they should come back. Today's video, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. This is a 4-character fighting game with puzzle solvings and action, and is incredibly inspired by Marvel's Civil War, the comic book storyline that happened 3 years before this game came out. This game released on September 15th, 2009. This game obviously released to the Wii, but also the DS, as well as the PlayStation 2 and 3, and then the PSP, as well as Xbox 360 and Windows, and then was later ported to the PS4 and the Xbox One. Now, this game was developed by a lot of different groups depending on the version of the game you were playing. This Wii version, as well as the PS2 and the DS version, was developed by InSpace. So that's the version we're going to be talking about here. But Vicarious Visions did the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions, the newest consoles at the time they came out, and Savage Entertainment did the PSP. And then Zoomode later ported the games for the newer consoles. And this game was published by Activision. But this is a game I do remember actually playing a good bit of when I was a kid. Actually, when I turned it on, this game, to play on stream, I saw that I had a 16-hour save file, which for me as a child was a lot. I did not spend too much time on one game. But let's hope it holds up. So let's dive right in to this game. This game starts off with Nick Fury leading like a covert ops mission with different Marvel superheroes in Latveria. Mainly Captain America and Iron Man. Wolverine and Spider-Man are also like canonically there. But Iron Man and Captain America are the ones that matter most. For a lot of these cuts out, you'll see like grayed out heroes because they can be whoever you're playing. But Iron Man and Captain America, it's very important to remember they were there. But anyways, the assault is pretty much based on the fact that their prime minister or leader, Von Bartis, was supplying and funding all these different supervillains in America. And Nick Fury saw that as an act of war. So he takes those heroes to attack her. During the fight, her whole castle like collapses, and she's believed to be dead. But she's not. Cut to a year later, where a cyborg Von Bartis is attacking New York with big bombs. And you gotta go stop her, which you do. But there is a lot of destruction left over, and people are upset, especially when they find out that this attack was provoked by an unauthorized attack on Latveria. The U.S. government did not okay Nick Fury's assault, and that is what starts this conversation about checking in and reining in superheroes. This leads to some disagreement and conversations between mainly Iron Man and Captain America, who were at the assault. Captain America thinking that these heroes are doing good work and that he doesn't want to be a pawn of the government. While Iron Man thinks that these checks are just a matter of time and that they probably do need to be reined in a bit, setting the stage. And Iron Man says it just takes one more event for this all to happen. And then that event does. And I think it's Stamford. I keep wanting to say Stanford, like the school, but I think it's Stamford, Connecticut. A group of young heroes attempts to stop a villain called Nitro, who just explodes. I'm not too familiar with him. I guess his power set is that he can just explode, which he does, killing over 600 civilians. And this obviously fast tracks all of the government legislation that introduces the Superhero Registration Act, forcing heroes to unveil their public identities and have to check in with the government before they do anything. And this is what causes the big split between the heroes. Some heroes register, are okay with everything and register. Others think that this is out of line and too controlling from the government, and they go rogue, become criminals. Iron Man leads the pro-registration heroes, and Captain America, a huge symbol, becomes the leader of the anti-registration movement, something the government hates, seeing him, the face of the country, turn against them. Now, I don't know how much storyline like that you actually get to see changes based on who you picked. I think it's probably a lot of the same cutscenes because there's a lot of fights between the two groups that go on, so you're just on one side or the other of those fights. But for the storyline, I did pick Captain America and the anti-registration line, and playing this video game and picking his side, I think is the reason Captain America became one of my favorite Marvel heroes. I know I'm talking about Marvel video games, but your boy's actually a bigger DC head. I know. So then there's a couple of stages with the fights between the two groups that leads to one big confrontation. All heroes together fighting against each other. This starts off with Tony Stark faking like a hostage situation that lures out the anti-registration heroes, and Captain America and Iron Man have a quick conversation, but things quickly divulge into just an all-out brawl. And we see at this confrontation that the Iron Man side is controlling supervillains with these nanite chips in them, making them fight for the pro-registration superheroes. But during this fight, those nanites themselves go rogue, and as do the villains. And they kind of just start to attack everybody. They start using bombs to blow everything up. And they do go off, leaving your team, whichever heroes you were controlling, under Rebel to be saved by Nick Fury. So, when you wake up, Nick Fury pretty much pulls you out of the war. He says, you're going to be out of this war while we work together to combat this nanite problem. That's right. All of the Civil War storyline stuff that you actually get to partake in is already over with. And it is a nanite, mind control storyline from here on out. Some elements of the Civil War stuff still play out in some cutscenes between Captain America and Iron Man, but what you as a character actually get to be a part of is gone. It's already over. Kind of disappointing, but we'll move on. So Nick Fury sends you to the negative zone, I think. Is it negative or Phantom? Phantom's DC. Yes. But Nick Fury sends you to the negative zone where there's a sample of the nanite technology that he wants you to retrieve so they can take a look at and start analyzing what happened. Captain America and Iron Man find their way there as well, and they have to team up together to fight back some of these nanite-controlled villains. And actually, during this fight, Nick Fury sends them through a portal while he holds back the rest of the villains, and the portal cuts off. And it's left to believe that Nick Fury died on the other side of the portal. This causes Iron Man and Captain America to kind of squash their beef and join forces together against this nanite problem, pretty much ending the Civil War problem altogether as well. I know I made it seem like it lasted longer. It does, but not by much. But then back on Earth, unfortunately, the nanites have spread worldwide, and T'Challa phones in some help from the Avengers to help defend Wakanda, which we go to, and you do help defend him. After defending the castle of Wakanda, we then find out that the source of the nanites is based in Iceland with a huge tower. So the team goes there, and then we discover that Tinkerer is behind all of these nanites, destroy his puppets, defeat the Tinkerer, and upload a cure to the nanite virus. Think the game's over? It's not. One last big final boss fight with a completely nanite-controlled Nick Fury. I think they explain why he's not cured of the nanites like everyone else. I think he's just, what was it? He's just much more taken over fully by the nanites. But obviously the heroes then defeat him, and then we get the ending cutscene to the game. With Nick Fury completely freed of the nanites, granted amnesty for what had happened, and the Superhero Registration Act has been repealed due to all the superheroes' help in saving the entire world from this nanite control. And then the game ends. Now, the story is a great concept, making the Marvel Civil War storyline into a video game, but it barely spends any time there, or at least with you yourself partaking in it, and the resolution to it being this nanite technology felt a little kind of meh to me. It just feels like an easy out to the resolution. It was less of like some kind of coming to understanding between the two ideals, and more of just, we have a common enemy, we have to put that aside, while the actual moral dilemma between the two sides, it doesn't get resolved there. It doesn't get resolved at all. And the whole idea of government control and the positives and negatives of it, it's pretty much negative. We don't see that conversation had, which is very disappointing. But it is a kid's game, so just the resolution being, combined enemy, I guess is just easier for kids. But it just falls flat for me. But again, this is targeted for kids. Kind of. I don't know. But ultimately, I'm going to give the storyline a 5 out of 10. It just does enough to not be bad, in my opinion. So for the arts, I'm going to start off with the character designs. And like pretty much any superhero game I've talked about on this series so far, they do a pretty good job because they're just copying and pasting from the comics, which I don't think is a bad thing, especially for a video game. So every character looks like how you'd imagine. And honestly, they look pretty good, I would say, especially within cutscenes. Everybody's designed well. The only original design in this game, I think, is the Nanite Nick Fury design. And it's honestly a bit much, but I still don't think it's terrible. Next is the actual in-game cutscenes with these computer-animated cutscenes that I actually do like, and I think they did do a very good job of. Everybody looks pretty good in it, and it's a good way of portraying the emotion within the characters during all these different conflicts. But I guess to look good on the Wii, they had to make everything dark. All the cutscenes are either at night or in a darkly lit room. There's one exception at Nick Fury's bedside, I think, when he recovers from the nanite virus. But other than that, everything is really dark, which the Wii, we know about the Wii and its power, so it makes sense why they would have to do it. So it does hold the cutscenes back a little bit, but overall, I still actually really like the way they look. Now for the in-game graphics. And holy pixelation. My goodness, this has got to be the most pixelated game I've done on this series, and this series is solely Wii games, so that is saying a lot. The in-game character models are fine, but the environments are not. The in-game environment is just not a joy to look at. Everything is just a continuous hallway, each stage kind of having its own design, whether it be a city different mines, different prisons, but it still feels a lot of the same for every stage, and it ultimately is just kind of hard on the eye. And then the enemy models, there's 3 different types, and then the rest are just reskins with the same animations. So overall, I'm going to give the arts for this game a 3 out of 10. Good character design, and decent cutscenes, the repeat enemy animations and builds, plus the environments, plus the waves of hallways you explore, just starts to make this game feel very repetitive, and that's without even factoring the gameplay. So first I'll start with basic gameplay, pretty much what you kind of do in every stage throughout the entire game. So for combat, A for light attacks, B for heavy attacks. You can move around, jump. Different heroes can kind of fly around, and then Spider-Man can web swing, and Iceman can ice sled around. And then every hero has 4 special attacks using the D-pad. These special attacks are either targeted, really strong heavy attacks, or area of effect attacks, or projectiles. I'll get into those. Then there's fusion attacks, and I think that is this game's most interesting gimmick, and what is probably, I haven't really seen it too much elsewhere. I haven't really seen that in too many others superhero video games. You can, once all 4 stars are filled up, you can do a fusion attack combining 2 different heroes, and they have a huge attack, and these are usually, I think pretty much all of them are area of effect attacks, except some allow you to kind of focus in on an area more than others. I'm editing up this video, and I don't know how I forgot to mention that doing these fusion attacks was super tough sometimes because the nunchuck would be super unresponsive. You're supposed to hold Z and shake it like this to activate it. And my God, would it refuse to do that at times, even when you had the energy charged up. Here's an example of me getting pissed at that. Alright, no, he doesn't want to do it. Alright, one of you has to What the fuck is this game? Now it does it when one dies.
Fusion time.
Fuck it. Alright, Spider-Man, you're saying dead. Or not, it's still not working.
Everybody, fusion time.
So fucking annoying. And now back to the rest of the video. The other use for those stars that charged up is that when one hero dies, you can spend a star to revive them as well. But also, when doing a fusion attack, all dead heroes also revive. So it's usually best to just try to wait and save up the 4 stars, because you can do the heavy attack and revive everybody. I didn't learn that until like the very end of the game. All of the playable characters in this game are Captain America, Daredevil, Deadpool, Gambit, Green Goblin, Hulk, Human Torch, Iceman, Invisible Woman, Iron Man, Jean Grey, Luke Cage, Mr. Fantastic, Miss Marvel, Nanite Nick Fury, Penance, Songbird, Spider-Man, Storm, The Thing, Thor, Venom, Wolverine, and then Blade and Cyclops are like version exclusives to the Wii. Kind of surprised that Cyclops wasn't a like main hero throughout all versions, considering he's like the head of the X-Men usually, like at least on ground when Xavier isn't there, or even sometimes in storylines when Xavier's gone, he's the full leader of the X-Men. Maybe the most iconic besides Wolverine. I mean, maybe, and probably Jean Grey, maybe at this point, but they're pretty intertwined. I think if you know Jean, you know Cyclops, so at least tied for second most iconic X-Men. Pretty shocking to me. And then Psylocke is also like a version exclusive to the Wii, kind of. She later did become a DLC character for the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions. And then the characters who were available in other versions of the game were Black Panther, Cable and Carnage, Iron Fist, Juggernaut, Magneto, Sentry, and She-Hulk. Now, the team of 4 that I ran through this game after I had tested every single character was Iceman, Gambit, Spider-Man, and The Thing. Very simple reasoning. Iceman, Gambit, and Spider-Man all have projectile special attacks, and those things were broken. That was definitely the easiest way to get through every stage, was just spamming projectiles on every enemy. And then The Thing is there because the best fusion attack I could see in this game, and it could probably do this with other super strong heroes with Spider-Man, but I like some of The Thing's other abilities as well. But the best fusion attack in this game was called Hammer, with The Thing picking up a piece of Earth and then Spider-Man webbing it up and then hammering a targeted area of your choice. That's one of the few fusions that you can specify where you want this attack to go. And this allowed it to be extremely good, almost perfect for boss fights. It would probably take, for most boss fights, it was like 2 or 3 hammer attacks to defeat a boss, and then it was just over. Very broken, honestly. Made the game super easy. Spamming projectiles and hammering every boss, you speed through this game. Now for the actual stages, they're just pretty much loops of fighting all these enemy grunts and then fighting boss fights. Occasionally there would be puzzles like pressure plate puzzles, memory puzzle, and then like light everything up kind of puzzle. There's like 3 puzzles I can remember through the whole game. Besides that, and then a hacking minigame that did appear a couple of times in this game, which was just guide your cursor through a maze. Don't like go out of bounds, don't cross the lines. Pretty simple idea, but that was pretty much the entire loop for the whole game. Was enemy of waves, maybe a puzzle or hacking mission, and then like I think you probably would fight 2 or 3 bosses for every stage. And that's pretty much the entire gameplay for the game. And for the gameplay for this game, I have to give it a 1 out of 10. Brayden, that's crazy. A 1 out of 10? There's no way it's that bad. And for most of this game, it was not that bad. But then we got to the end of the game. And it made me lose my fucking mind, the end of this game.
Nicholas Fury, reporting for duty.
I'm gonna lie down for a while.
Are you kidding me? What ragdoll effect is that it completely kills a character? Oh my. 2 specific things made me lose my mind. First was not the fight with the Tinkerer, but the hacking minigame you have to do afterwards. And then finally was the Nanite boss fight with Nick Fury. Those 2 events made my brain explode. Brayden, you're going to have to elaborate on why those did those. You can't just say those are reasons. I'm not going to say anything as to why. I'm just going to show clips from the stream as to why that made me lose my mind, starting with the hacking minigame after defeating the Tinkerer. Well, leave it to this game to throw in some dumb shit at the very fucking end. No! Fuck! Stop doing this! This is way too fucking long. Oh my god. Why? Why? I might not finish this fucking game tonight. What the fuck? God, fuck! God. This is so long. Oh my god. Why? Why? And by the way, I always do stream these Wii Vault games, so subscribe and also tune into the streams. It's a lot better when people pull up. But then here's the Nick Fury experience.
I'm gonna lie down for a while.
Victims of your own teamwork.
Fuck! Really? The whole fight just like that? Better be the halfway point or something, man. Fuck! I'm just like, give me a little bit of energy boost so I can do a fusion attack and revive both. Yes. You're fucking kidding me, the whole fight?
Take it.
Give me the 4 stars for fusion attacks! Oh my god! The whole fucking fight over again.
Here you go.
Oh my god! Why do developers become hell-bent on making a game unfun? Why? This game is fun, but they, as it's gone on, they've just chipped away at it, made it less and less fun as the game goes on, and now I fucking hate this game. I now fucking hate this game. God. Why? Fusion attacks are cool. They are a great concept for a game like this. Let me use them in the final boss fight. Ooh, hurry up.
The planet is ours. Join us.
And he shields.
Crawlers are getting to be too
God
much.
damn it!
Try using them against one another.
This isn't cool, man. This is not cool. Oh, look, the thing you did 2 seconds ago. Whoa! What?
Great job, everyone.
Takes
No crawlers
forever
left.
to get to a fusion ability, and as soon as I do, he negates it.
We will use your own powers against you.
Look, now the... What the fuck is this fight, man? What is this? Oh my god, come on, man. I can't take this. Holy shit.
Impossible. We cannot. No. Not we. I. Thank you.
Hard mode? I thought I was already in the top difficulty. That shit could be harder? But yeah, that's why I'm giving the gameplay for this game a 1 out of 10. I do not feel bad about it at all. Now for the Wii Vault game, I always like to go over the cast, and while I'm still going to do that, I'm just going to go over like the really major characters and like notable voice actors that I see. I'm not going to go over every single character's voice actor. That's a lot. But I don't remember anything sticking out to me. Everyone did do a great job of voice acting. So if you want to take the time to take a look at the voice actor cast, feel free. But for starters, we have Nick Fury and Captain America. We're actually both voiced by the same guy, David Kaye, who was also Megatron in Beast Wars, Transformers. And then Iron Man was Crispin Freeman, who also did Winston in Overwatch. Gorilla. And then since I've done a lot of Spider-Man games, I've listened to a lot of the voice actors. This voice actor was fine. But since Spider-Man is maybe the most popular Marvel hero, I figured I would mention him as well. Spider-Man and Penance were both voiced by the same guy, Ben Diskin, who was also Sylvester in Kindergarten Cop. And now the rest are like voice actors that I genuinely do recognize. Starting with Luke Cage and Black Panther, shared a voice actor, Carrie Payton. Just a great voice actor and is the go-to voice actor for every single black superhero. He's done them all. I mean, Aqualad is my favorite because I love Young Justice, but he's probably most known for Cyborg. Great voice actor. And then Wolverine and Nitro, both voiced by the same guy, Steve Bloom. This blood is in everything. I mean, I don't think there's a WeVault video I haven't talked about Steve Bloom outside of We Play. He's awesome. Thor and Scorpion is voiced by Jim Cummings. You know, Winnie the Pooh's go-to voice actor, but he's also Cat in Cat Dog. Juggernaut and Absorbing Man, or John DiMaggio, another guy that's in a lot of these videos. And he also does Flip in The Loud House. And then finally is Colossus, who's voiced by Nolan North, who I've mentioned several times, and he was also Peter Haslings in Pretty Little Liars. Just another reminder for WeVault, if I see a voice actor I've talked about before, I try to find a different role. So if I didn't say their most popular role, that is why. This game has a great story base that I think it strays too far from. It has subpar graphics and very repetitive gameplay. Concept alone cannot carry a game. So unfortunately, I'm going to give this game a very disappointing 3 out of 10. This is one of the games in this series that I regret going back to. I loved this game as a kid, and now I'm just like, it's cool concept-wise, but it just failed to deliver, and I'm disappointed. But let's take a look ahead to the next game in this series.
In a distant galaxy, far, 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 far away. Evil has evolved. And now, so must you. Spore Hero for the Wii.
But back to this video, let me know what you liked about it most, what you agreed with most, and what you disagreed with most. What game you want to see me do next in this series. Go ahead and give this video a like, and please subscribe for more to come. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, keep gaming.